sends it up the inside here, but she suddenly stops. I try to go around the outside, but there's contact. Hey guys, what's up? Bad RedExions here and welcome back to this brand new video. And today we are back at Circuit Pottendijk Emmen for round 4 of the Dutch Tillotson T4 series. So yeah, the championship battle is heating up now. The last race we managed to climb from I think P12 to P6 in the standings, which is really nice of course. We finally had a race without any bad luck. Also we learned a lot, we improved as a driver, we became a little bit smarter, which is important. You don't just need to be fast, you also need to be smart. So yeah, let's see if we can continue that upward trend for this weekend. Like I said, we are back at Circuit Pottendijk Emmen, but unlike last time, we are now running it in the reverse direction. So that means that we will be going this way, and on the straight we'll be going that way. And that big banked hairpin over there, that's now turn 1. Also, this weekend is the weekend when the tickets to the T4 Nations Cup will be handed out to the top 3 drivers. There is still a very small chance that I can win the third ticket. But in order for me to have that, I need to have extreme good luck and I need to drive really well. I think the pace is once again good enough for top 3. I'm not making any predictions, so that should be good. Let's just hope luck is on our side. Anyways guys, I'm going to get ready for the first session. See you on track.
Met Rotax zet je heel geleidend naar je gat. Hier moet je dan gewoon vol gelijk rammen. Probeer dat gewoon. Je hebt nou top de tijd. Ja.
Round 4. This is the big one guys. If we end up in the top 3 of the standings after this race, we will bring home a ticket to the T4 Nations Cup in Valencia. There is still a small chance we can still win it if we do well, and doing well starts with knowing the track. Let me guide you around this track, which we have previously run in the opposite direction. Starting out the lap here in Pottendijk, we roll onto one of the longest straights of the calendar. Once the bumps start, time to hit the brakes. Brake very hard, flick the kart into the banking and get on the power way before the apex. Let the kart flow out wide before bringing it over to the right for turn 2, which is immediately followed up by the hairpin of turn 3. Getting a good exit here is vital, because the entire section after turn 4 is flat out, and a bad exit from the hairpin means you lose time throughout that entire section. We carry great speed into the last sector, which starts out with a double right-hander. Take a lot of every curb, as we now have a double left-hander, the second of which is very slow hairpin and spits you into the last corner. Let the kart flow out wide initially before coming back to the inside to take the shortest possible run to the finish line to do it all over again here in Pottendijk. So yeah, this track really is a wild ride. Wanna know what's also a wild ride? The journey with this channel so far. So guys, if you are still enjoying this video, so if you are new, please consider subscribing. Every single sub is one step closer to my goal of one day doing this for a living. Plus, you will get notified whenever I upload an awesome new video. Yay! Let's see if we can get to 50k subscribers at the end of this year. But I digress. A little bit later on that day, we were struggling a little bit to find the setup and to perfect the racing lines. I was really not up to the pace just yet, and we were especially struggling with engine setup, like the carburetor and gearing. We kept finding ourselves being very good on top speed, but not on acceleration. Usually that means that you need to change your gearing or something in your carburetor. By the way, after my girlfriend overtook me, this happened. So that was definitely not on purpose. The inside of this corner is very slippery, so she slid out wide, coming to a stop in the mid corner, which surprised me, and then boom, crash. Luckily, nothing serious. I actually had a similar situation when I overtook this guy here. However, I was able to carry more speed, which made the impact less severe. Also, one thing that was very cool about this version of the track is turn 1. Because of the banking, you could take great speed into the corner, as well as get on the power super early. Just listen to how early I can get on the power here. Anyways, we made some small setup adjustments and I feel like these pushed us in the right direction. Finding the right setup is tricky and it can be difficult to discover it all by yourself. So if you ever have any setup related questions or anything that has to do with karting, consider joining our Discord server. Link is in description and it's a great free tool to get information about anything karting related. But I digress again, let's go back to what is on your screen. So I was just minding my own business and then this happened. Yeah, like the second race of the season, where it cost me vital points, we once again had a chain failure. This time it again somehow broke without a clear cause. The weirdest thing is that the chain wasn't even old, and we had no idea why it suddenly snapped. I'm just glad it didn't happen in the race this time. After this session it started raining like crazy, so we had to switch to the wet setup last minute, with multiple mechanics from the team jumping over to help us. One thing we didn't do, however, was switch to the correct gearing. So when we went out and started doing our laps, we had great difficulties overtaking my teammate here. Every time I went up the inside, he could easily do the switchback and overtake me right back. I tried my best to stay ahead, but whatever I tried, nothing was working. The best way to counter the switchback is to not overshoot your braking point and to stay side by side going into the corner. This way the other driver has nowhere to go and there is no space to pull over the switchback. But because I was lacking so much acceleration, this did basically nothing. The worst offense was here. I overtook him going into this fast left-hander, and then a few corners later he could just power pass me around the outside like I was not there. This started to get very annoying, especially considering that I felt like I was much faster. The climax came when a third kart started getting involved. I have a look up the inside here, but we touch, destroy his bumper, and then he gets destroyed by our teammate. So we finally got past him, we have a little bit of a gap behind us so he can't overtake us back. And I improved my lap time significantly. I'd say that this is a really good way to end our Friday, and I think the wet pace is really good. In the dry, however, we need to find some more speed. Alright guys, that was the day. A little bit wishy-washy. Of course, I didn't have the camera on for every session. Anyway, we started going really well, and then we put the GoPro back on and then it started going a little bit less well. I think in our best session we were off by only about a tenth, and then we started, the other guys improved and we didn't. And this is going very well. Come up. Yeah, that last session in the wet was awesome. So yeah, day's over, time to get to our hotel, and this is the fanciest hotel of the season so far. Looks good, right? Yeah, thought so. First off, carpaccio. I'm not even sure if that's what this is called in English, but... Main course time. I of course chose the burger with some fries and some stuff. She went for the satay, which is basically just pork with peanut sauce and fried onions and some more Indonesian stuff. Correction, her meat is chicken, not pork. We'll be enjoying this. Anyways guys, I have to walk to the van to get my stuff because I left my overalls and helmet in there. I think today was pretty solid actually. Of course we weren't the fastest, we weren't lightning quick. So yeah, tomorrow we'll be starting out with the slow engine of course, and as the day goes on we'll move to the fast engine. It will probably be fully wet tomorrow, and the pace in the wet looks really good as you could see in the last session of the day. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. I have to get my stuff from the van. See you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, good morning and welcome to day 2. Today it is time for more free practice, and the forecast was that it was going to be very rainy and thunderstorms today, but it's actually fucking hot. I'm sweating my balls off, and yeah, so we have a completely dry day for today. So yeah, today we'll just be finding out how fast we really are, because actually within the team we were the only one together with Roskilde who did not run their fast engine yet. And yeah, let's see what we can do. So guys, welcome back to Onboards for day 2 of testing. Today we finalized the progress we made yesterday by fine-tuning both the driving and the setup. We ended yesterday by being about a tenth or two of the pace, and that was still the case for this first session on Saturday morning. It was unfortunately cut short by once again a problem with the chain. I'm guessing the bumpy nature of this track is causing more chain problems than normal, as I definitely wasn't the only one experiencing these kinds of problems. Next, we went out on track with our teammates. Going out on track with other fast drivers is a great way to find your strengths and weaknesses, because now you have a reference point and it's very clear to see where on track you are gaining and losing time. For example, we could immediately see that we were strong in this technical bit, because we get a little bit closer to the kart ahead. We do seem to be lacking acceleration out of the final corner though, but then at the end of the straight, we seem to gain back a little bit of that lost time. A little bit later, the 2 karts ahead broke very early, which made me do a big accidental dive bomb, of which one overtake actually succeeded. That was completely unintentional. I was just surprised by how early they broke and I had nowhere to go. Next lap we overtake the next kart, but for some reason the engine decided to take a nap and switch off. I tried to get it going myself again, but that didn't work. Luckily my mechanic came over to give me a hand and we were able to set off again. We started chasing after my girlfriend here, but we are still a little bit too slow. To be fair, I think tire wear started to play a small role here. We have been testing on this set of tires since the beginning of the season, and whilst they last long, they are not everlasting gobstoppers. Luckily, for the next race weekend, Benidorm Racing has provided me with a brand new set. Speaking of Benadu Racing, they are your one-stop web shop for everything karting. They have their own unique products designed especially for T4, but also stuff like tires and parts. And not just for T4, but for many other karts and engine types too. Give their webshop a visit, link in description. They also provided me with a set of wets, which came in very handy in the next session. Yeah, it was once again raining, and like yesterday, we were absolutely flying in the wet. The lines in the wet are of course very different to the dry. In the wet you have to find where the grip is, and the only way to do that is to just try. There is no way to know it beforehand. Some corners you have to take around the outside, in others you have to take a huge amount of curb, and in some you stay in the middle of the track. I think we got it pretty much bang on here, and we were about half a second faster than anyone else in the field at this point. We now also switch to my race engine, which gives us another tenth or two for free. So the wet pace is really good, but in the next dry session it was once again clear we still needed to find a tenth or two. We tried some things with the setup on both the carburetor and the gearing, but they once again seemed to not be the right decision. We were still lacking acceleration, especially out of the final corner and into the third sector. However, the top speed was really good. Usually this means that the fuel-air mixture in the carburetor is too lean, meaning not enough fuel or too much air. So we would have to change that for tomorrow. No biggie. We should be right on the pace again tomorrow once that has been fixed. Speaking of tomorrow... Alright guys, good morning. Welcome back to the track, because today it is race day. Yesterday was a little bit of a weird day. We didn't really find the speed yet. I think we still have a little bit of time to find in both our driving and in a little bit in the setup.
Look at this! Proper mechanic brings his own table to the track.
So yeah, in the warm-up we will have a little bit more time to test some things with the carburetor, because I think that's where the main issue was. And maybe to fix out the driving a little bit. You could definitely see that we were losing a lot of time coming out of the final corner. And also in the middle sector in the really fast bit. So that will be our main focus for the next session, and then after that we'll have the qualifying, in which I will be back with the onboard helmet cam. So guys, wish me luck, see you in quali. Alright, time for another qualifying session. This time, Wietske and I decided to once again give each other slipstream. This time I took the lead so Wietske could set her lap time first. Slipstream makes quite a big difference at this track because of that massive main straight. So I lead for about 7 laps, after which it was time to swap positions. Now I had the benefit of slipstream and I could set my fast lap. We can immediately see that the straight line speed has massively improved since yesterday, and we now even gain a little bit on acceleration. So this setup is working wonders. A little bit later we encounter some slower drivers here, so I stay close to my girlfriend so that I can benefit from her overtakes too. She sends it up the inside here, but she suddenly stops. I try to go around the outside, but there's contact. I absolutely fly through the air and have a very rough landing back on the ground. That happened way too fast. Let's have a look at what actually happened there in slow motion. So Wietske sends it up the inside of the slower kart here, but because she hit the curb so hard, her chain came off. Of course, when the chain's not connected, there is nothing delivering the engine's power to the rear wheels. I tried to get past her, but in doing so we both wanted to take this curb and boom, contact. We sustained a bit of damage to the chassis because of this, and I was unfortunately not able to set a good lap time. The other 2 teammates behind me were also negatively affected by this, so that means P15 for us, and definitely not the qualifying we wanted. Well guys, shit, the bad luck has returned. Yeah, I feel like we couldn't really do that much about that. We started off with great track position, had a little bit of traffic, not that big of an issue. Then I decided to swap places with Wietske to get some slipstream myself. But then after I let her pass, her chain came off, I had nowhere to go. And we hit each other, I went up in the air and I think my kart is now bent. So yeah, that was some suboptimal handling after that. So yeah, not the best. I think we are on P15, which is not great. So a little bit of a rough start to the official sessions, but I think we have the speed for the races. Let's see what we can do there. Guys, all of that practice, the dramatic qualifying session, all of that comes down to the first race of the weekend. And remember guys, we still have that chance to win that 3rd ticket to the T4 Nations Cup in Valencia in September. But if we want to win that, we need to get lucky, we need to be fast in this race, we need to be smart, stay on the track and move forward as many positions as we can. P15 is not the best place to start. Of course we're starting right in the midfield, which is usually where the most crashes happen. Anyways, we roll into the tram lines now. It's a really long run up to the start-finish straight and until the flag drops. We wait. We can see the flag on the right hand side there. It drops and away we go. You can see we get a pretty good launch. Not enough to overtake our teammate ahead of us though. We push the guy in front of us a little bit because he's a little bit slow. He loses the back end a little bit. We lose some positions there, but we also gain a few positions as there are people going off on the left here. We go around the outside, but we also get overtaken around the outside, which makes us stay in P15. And there you can actually see a little bit of a crash happening. So we are now up into P10. So we have gained a few positions as of right now. We gain another one. Here we also throw it up the inside of our teammate Stefan. So we went from P15 to P8 in the first 2 sectors, which is really, really good. And actually, if we look at the visor, you can't really see it on the visor actually, but I could see it when I was out here on track. The skies had started opening up and the entire field was on slicks. And it was slowly raining. It was getting more and more wet as this session went on. But here it was not too bad yet, so we could focus on slipstreaming and catching the guy ahead. But we were actually really quick in this race, even in these cold conditions. We are now right up the rear bumper of our teammate. We actually get a little bit of overspeed here. Where we used to be strong, or where we used to be weak, we are now strong. We have the setup bang on. We could overtake him going into the last sector, and we are again all over the guy ahead of us. We just had a lot of momentum behind us for some reason. I was really quick in these conditions, but that's something that I've usually been. Here you can see a little bit of a yellow flag. Here's the green flag though, and we immediately take that opportunity to send it up the inside. The first opportunity we get, but he holds it around the outside. We try to do a little bit of a switchback here, as we also get switchbacked ourselves by our teammate. He tries to actually pull alongside there, but we nailed the gearing this time, and now we pull ahead in the slipstream of the 336, who is actually also a contender for that 3rd Nations Cup ticket, so it's very important that we get past him. And here you can just see that on every exit we are so strong. Here we slipstream, we can pull alongside into the hairpin, and we are now up into P6, so we are making some big moves in this race. And ahead of us, again, 2 teammates, P5, oh no, P4 and P5. And yeah, for some reason we were just mega quick. You can see on my dash there 5 green lamps, or 5 green LED lights, which means that we are improving by 5/10. And we actually set the fastest lap of the race in that lap. So we caught up to the back of them now. They are battling. I'm trying to get past. Here you can see the rain droplets on the visor. Here my teammate points upwards saying, hey, think about it. It's raining. Don't do anything stupid. So I naturally decide to go up the inside here. My other teammate outbrakes him around the outside. So we're now up into P5. So in the first 5 laps we have gained about 10 positions, which is an average of 2 positions per lap, which is pretty good in my opinion. Here the camera makes a small cut because yeah, it just does that sometimes. So we are now right behind our teammate Oliver. We send it up the inside here, but he actually touches our rear bumper, which makes us lose control of the car, spin onto the grass, and there goes our Nations Cup. You can hear me being very, very angry. That's me screaming in my helmet. I was so angry. All of that great progress we made, gone in one corner. That's how quickly your race can turn from very good into very bad. And you can now also see that the rain is coming down very heavily. And if we actually have a look at that thing in slow motion, you can see that we send it up the inside here like we have done so many times this weekend. But Oliver just didn't see me and he taps my rear bumper here, which makes the car turn to the right. And then I just lose the back end, hit the grass, and I couldn't keep it in a straight line on the grass. And there we go. So yeah, not ideal, let's say that. Especially not when you're fighting for a championship, eh? But hey, as we now switch back to the live feed, it's a racing incident. Stuff like that can happen. No hard feelings to you, Ollie. Don't worry about it too much. Anyways, focusing back on the race, the angry part is now over. Let's see if we can get back some more positions in this race. So we're now in P20, we need to do all of that work again. Here we immediately overtake 2 people who broke very early. There we overtake our teammate who spun, so we're now up into P17. So we gain 3 positions back, and you can really see that the rain is coming down hard now. We are having to take every single curb to actually make the kart rotate, because it just wasn't rotating if we didn't take curbs. And here you can see again that on slicks in these wet conditions we are just so fast. We send it up the inside into the corner where it previously went wrong. This time it doesn't go wrong though, the other driver sees us, and we now move up into P16. Here I tried the inside line where yesterday I took the outside line, but yeah, in that instance I immediately felt that the inside was not quicker there. But you can just see how much quicker we are than this group ahead. We are gaining on them so much every single corner. We run a bit wide here, but that actually helps our run onto the straight, which also helped us in the wet here yesterday. So So you can see we can carry a lot more speed onto the straight and slipstream a little bit closer to them. And another really strong part of the track for me was basically every single braking zone. I just have a lot of confidence on the brakes in the wet. Here you can see that we actually overtook two guys who made a little bit of contact there. Nothing major though, as we now actually have a bad exit and we get overtaken back by the 337. We immediately send it back up the inside here. I really wanted to get past everyone, so I just moved them out of the way. I was seeing this ticket slip through my fingers, so I wanted to get to the front by any means necessary. Here we take a little bit of curb to aid the kart in rotation. You can really hit the bodywork of the kart, hitting the asphalt actually. That's that scraping noise you hear when I hit a curb. There you can see us taking the outside line and it's just way faster than the inside line. We got a lot better exit. Here we have a little bit of a look up the inside of the 379. We almost get him though. We try to do a switchback here, but we don't quite get the launch out of the final corner to get past him. And then you can see him pulling away a little bit there just because he got a better exit. But like you guys know, on the brakes here we are super strong. We absolutely send it up the inside here from very far away. He actually spins, takes out my teammate, and we're now back up into P12. So we are still making a net gain of 3 positions compared to our starting position. But if you compare this to where we were at the beginning of the race or in lap 4, really frustrating. But you don't have time to be frustrated in a race like this. You need to think about the championship. So I was trying to move forward as much as I can. Here you can see the 362 looking behind him. He knows we're going to attack. He tries to duck his head down to be as slippery in the straight line as possible. He brakes early. We send it up the inside. Do a clean move. Take some curb to help the kart rotate. And boom. We are now up into P11. So we're almost back in the top 10 again. And our pace was just very rapid. I think we had the fastest lap of the race as someone makes a mistake there, sending us now up into P10. Here we are behind our teammate Peter, who was in a different class than us. He's a little bit slower. And you can just see that he's holding us up here a little bit. We try to go up the inside here. So we do it here again. Now we make the move stick. We are now up into P9. So yeah, we're making a little bit of progress in this race, but you can also see that the gap behind us is very big. And Peter actually has a little bit of a go back at us there. He really doesn't care, he just wants to have a fun race. But because he's in a slower class, you can see that we easily out-drag him in a straight line. But here, 3 laps later, we close about a 5-second gap. Yeah, like I said, we were just mega quick. I believe we actually set the fastest lap in this race. But yeah, fastest lap only gains you 1 point, win gains you 55 points. So we definitely prefer the win over the fastest lap. And here you can see that we actually caught right back up to Wietske, my girlfriend, who started in P5, a little bit of an off in the first lap, but we were just so mega quick. Here you can see us gaining so much on them in this corner. Here I try to have a look up the inside of my teammate Jermo, but he defends and we actually run into the back of him, push him wide a little bit there. I'm not complaining that that's another position for us, but that might result in us getting a penalty for unsportsmanlike driving. That wasn't really intentional, but yeah, I also didn't want to give up the position. There you can see us being very angry, and actually after the race, after being very strong in this braking zone, we somehow bottled it. But yeah, super frustrating race, man. We definitely had the pace. I think we even had the pace to win it. Yeah, we were just mega quick in those wet conditions, but once again, luck wasn't on our side with that stupid racing incident. I feel like I didn't do anything wrong there. I have overtaken so many people there that weekend, and that was the only time it went wrong. So yeah, let me know your guys' opinion in the comments. Anyways, that's P10. This ticket is slipping out of our hands very slowly. Alright guys, next race. We are all on wet tires because it was raining very hard when we were in Park Ferme. But about 5 minutes before the start of this race, it started drying. And then you can see on the right there that the dry line is completely dry. Slicks would have been faster at this point, but the entire grid was on wet tires. We were on brand new wet tires because we could use this new set in this race. But yeah, we also didn't really gamble with the tire pressure on it being this dry. So we were basically on a full wet setup, which is not what you want in a dry track with these wets. Anyways, the flag drops, away we go. We absolutely send it around the outside behind our girlfriend here. She actually gets a crazy start, getting up to P3. And we get up to P5, so we both had amazing starts. We actually go up to P4 now. Wietske, my girlfriend, goes up to P2. So that, again, is an insane start to this race. As well as Wietske's start. Really insane. But yeah, I don't know what it is, man, but with starts, I always seem to be strong, and this start was no exception. However, with this race and us being on a full wet setup with very high tire pressure on a dry track, that's pretty much where the positives of this race end. We were basically as slow as a snail in this race. As you can see here, us getting overtaken by the 336 there. Another contender for the T4 Nations Cup ticket, who is now in front of us. So that's no bueno. And that's basically pretty much how the entire race went. You can see that we are just, yeah, very slow here. This guy even overtakes us coming out of the hairpin, which is not what you want. I really don't have any much more to say. We keep losing positions lap after lap. You can even hear the tires screech when we brake and turn into the corner, which is really a sign of it being dry. I knew I was too slow, so I pointed my teammate through here, who was actually the championship leader, which is why he has the golden number 1 on his card. We were just not fast enough, and I knew it. This race was really just a case of let's not lose too many positions. So again, this race, suboptimal. We go into the final corner now, get it on the dry line to maximize the exit, but here's actually someone on the inside, and because we were so slow in the corners, we got really shit exits as well. So we finished this race in P8, but this time, however, we got a little bit lucky with the penalties in front of us, because Wietske actually got a penalty, which is not great for her. But for us, we finally gain a position due to someone in front of us having penalty, which is actually the first time this season. So now we are in P7. But we have absolutely shredded our wet tires, which are now completely burnt and very worn out. So let's pray that the next race is dry, because these wets are basically worthless as of now. Yeah, I don't think the karting gods like me. We are now starting this race on a completely shredded set of wets. Like I said, in the previous race the tire pressure was too high, plus my driving style in the wet is quite aggressive, so I basically burned these tires to a crisp. Anyway, we are actually starting in P6 because someone had to start from the pit lane due to a Parc Fermé infringement. But yeah, the pace has been strong in the wet, so let's see how we do it on these absolutely shredded wet tires. We roll into the tram lanes now, accelerate towards the line, the flag drops and away we go. We get actually a pretty good launch. We absolutely get sanded there up the rear and we hit the guy in front of us, which is not a great start to the race, but hey, it doesn't really matter, we are still driving. Here we actually get our bumpers intertwined with someone else, but in the process of that chaotic start, we actually find ourselves up in P4. Guys, I don't know what it is, but every single start so far this season we have gained at least 2 or 3 positions, which is really great. Here we again send it up the inside into the corner where it run through me in the first race. We make it stick this time and we're now up into P3, so we are up into the podium positions, starting from P7 in the first lap, which is nice. I think that's nice. But guys, as things are settling now, with us having a little bit of a gap in front of us, the burnt layer on our wet tires slowly rubbing off in these conditions, and us having a wet track on which we have been blistering fast this entire weekend, maybe we can make something of this race. Maybe, I smell a P1 in here. You can see again, at the end of the straight, we are just so strong on the brakes, and then on exit we lose a little bit of time, but not as much as we gained in that braking zone. We are just lightning quick in these conditions, and we are all over the top 2 already at the end of, or at the middle part of lap 2, excuse me. Maybe that pace that we had in the wet was returning. Maybe we can go for a P1 here. You can see that they pulled a little bit away, but here this outside line is just superior. Look at how much we gain, especially into this corner. We gain actually so much that we can already go for an overtake here at the end of lap 2. We overtake our teammate there, we make a little bit of contact, no love lost there, no real issues. And we are now up into P2. He tries to have a little bit of a look back at us. He has a little bit of a better exit, but our setup in a straight line is just superior. Just look how easily we can stay in front of him now. I tell him to follow me. It's your championship as well. He is comfortably in the lead, so it doesn't really matter that I'm in front of him. I won't overtake him in the championship anyway, because I'm like in P6. So I signal to him, follow me. Let's get this P1, because of course he wants to battle for P1 too, right? And just look at how much we are gaining on the P1 card here. His tires were also completely shredded after the after that previous round, but his tires were even more shredded than mine. I already felt like I was getting grip back, and we are now all over the back of the 386. We tried to have a little bit of a look up the inside here, but he's a little bit faster than our teammate in here. We actually bump him from behind because he was so slow going through there. Here the camera makes another little bit of a cut, which is annoying, and we are now in a slipstream, gaining. We are still pretty strong on top speed. We send it up the inside here, into the first corner, and we are now in P1. He is not able to do the switchback. He tries to do it though, but we just accelerate out of the corner better. I signal to him to follow me. Here we have a little bit of a replay of this very clean move. You can see he tries to switch back, but he just fails. And now, time to put our head down and pull away. We are in P1 with a clear track ahead of us, and I knew we had a big pace advantage. So time to get our head down, build that gap, and let's see if we can finally get our first win of the season in this race. The conditions have blessed me though. The tires are now good, the setup was amazing, and I just felt like this kart was on rails and I could really do with it exactly what I wanted. Now we are exiting the final corner of lap 4. Duck behind the wheel to make ourselves aerodynamically slippery as possible. And there you can see that we already built a pretty big gap. The gap behind us is already like half a second. And like I said, we are just lightning quick in these conditions. Here I have a little bit of a look behind. I knew the gap was big enough. I knew that I was going to run away with this race if nothing crazy happens. That would be insane, right? If we now again lose this win to some sort of other thing. Let's hope it doesn't happen. And here we are in P12. Or lap 12 I should say. We are in P1 on lap 12. We are still leading this race. We pulled away by the field for a couple of seconds, by about 2.5-3 seconds. I was on cruise control at this point. I did not need to push anymore, because we are coming around the final corner now. Just a few more 100 meters to go in this race, and we come across the line to take our first win of the season. And what a complete domination it was. I was so happy with this. We pulled away off the field by a few seconds. Here you could hear me screaming to the team. I was so happy with that. So let's see by how much we actually pulled away. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. So this time we got a penalty for front fairing, which is not decided by the stewards, but our karts have a system in which if you hit someone in front of you too hard, the front bumper will change position, and that automatically gives you a 5-second penalty. And I think that happened at the start when we got that big send from behind and we hit the guy in front of us. So this system was created to stop people from crashing into each other. But when something like this happens, it just takes an innocent victim. In which case, this was me. Let's see what happened after this. So guys, yeah, pretty good race I think. We definitely had the speed this time. We made the overtakes at the correct moment, but then to my horror when I got out of the kart I saw that I somehow got a front fairing penalty. One thing that is cool though, Vojens got the second ticket. However, Vojens did win her ticket though, so she's going to Valencia, and I have a little bit of a shock announcement for you. I'm also going. I bought the ticket. So we'll be going to Valencia once again, and we'll be accompanied by Vojens, my girlfriend, and yeah, it's going to be one hell of a race. But let's hope the bad luck in this season so far can kind of level out in Valencia, because I'm getting real sick of it, if I'm completely honest with you. Anyways, we're back in the tent, completely quiet here after a rough day, and yeah, time to pack everything, and also time to end this video. If you guys enjoyed that, then please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. You know, you really help me when you do that. We didn't win the ticket, but we are still going to Valencia, and that's mainly possible due to your guys' support with the channel, and also to the members who support me financially. Big thank you. If it weren't for you, no World Championship for me this year. Anyways guys, if you want to see a fun race, go check out this video on screen right here. We had a rental race which was very chaotic. This video is done however, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.